Sometimes I feel so lucky. Do you know why? In my hands, brand new device from Sony. I'm not going to reveal everything about it just yet. In fact, I'm going to hide it here. You stay tuned just a little while longer till I show you exactly what that's all about. Anyway, I said I'm lucky because I can see all sorts of gadgets and there's plenty in store for you today. Let's start. So why was I holding this phone so close to me? Why was I hiding it from you? Well, let me just explain briefly. If you didn't know the news, a little while ago, Sony announced they're going to buy out Ericsson's partnership, their shares in the deal they have with Sony Ericsson phones. So now it's Sony Mobile Communications, and we have the first launch since that was announced. This is a Sony Xperia S. This is just my first impression of it. Let's find out a bit more. What am I looking at? Just a phone, because I can't get used to this. Right there, the Xperia S. This is, as I said, the very first phone from Sony since they, bought out Ericsson for the mobile partnership. So as you can see right there, it's just Sony. So it takes a little while to getting used to, because I admit, even I had a Sony Ericsson a little while ago. And having a Sony phone there, it just adds a little bit of class, and usually a little bit more in terms of pricing. But as you can see from the phone itself, it is very, very sleek looking, very nice, very dark color. Now, this is a 4.3-inch screen, so just to show you exactly, it is a very vivid screen. It really brings out the Sony Bravia mobile engine, as you can see. Let me put it on again. Very crystal clear, and you know what, maybe in a bit I'll show you some video as well, but it's a great, great screen. I do enjoy using that. Everything about it just pops out right at your eyes. Now, other parts I like about the design would be here. Now you can see it's see-through, and you can see exactly what the buttons correlate to just above it. That's a nice little touch, something we don't usually see, makes it stand out just that little bit more. And if we flip it around to the back, it's got a matte finish, so you're not really going to get fingerprints on that, I have to say. Overall though, the sharp edge design can be a bit awkward for some people, but I seem to like it. I don't have any problems with it, but I think that's a matter of personal preference than anything else. As for everything else about this, in case you're wondering, if you buy it early, you're more likely to have it with gingerbread, but don't worry, because Sony has said in the future, you can upgrade it to ice cream sandwich, but obviously can't show you that on this right now because it's not out. Now, apart from that, it is all very, very, very centric, should I say Android-centric, and everything about it as you glide your way through makes it feel just like any other Android phone in my honest opinion. Now, there's no skins like you'll see with some of the other Android devices like from HTC, but it's still pretty nifty if you ask me. Now, underneath the hood itself, it's got a 1.5 GHz dual-core Snapdragon processor and pretty much the standard 1 gig of RAM. So it's pretty smooth, as you can see, sliding through with my fingers. Quite impressed with that. Absolutely no complaints. Okay, let me open the camera. Okay, and this is where it really, really comes into its element. I talked about the screen early on, and of course that just helps with the pictures. It's 12 megapixels, and it looks very, very nice and clear on the screen itself, but when you actually take the picture and you upload it to the computer, don't worry, picture quality is still pretty awesome if you ask me. In terms of video, well, it shoots just like the iPhone 4S, 1080p. Now, as for the actual technology here, it's very, very fast. We're talking 1.5 seconds to capture a picture, and if you've used smartphones to take pictures in the past, you'll know exactly how slow that can be. Now, that's because Sony's got their Sony X-R technology inside here as well. Adds to a really, really cool element when snapping pictures. In fact, bearing in mind that cameras are just going down in terms of sales, you can see why when you've got a camera like this. Also, it is PlayStation certified, and you know what? with the Vita out, PS3 out and stuff, who knows what could happen in the future, but it's nice knowing this is also certified in itself. Maybe in the future there'll be more of a tie-up. So what I think about this in closing, it's a very nifty phone. It's one of the better Android ones out there, although I seem to say that every time a new Android phone comes out. But really, this one does very well in everything, really. From the camera, which I said is awesome, and I have to say they've really done well at that, and really, I don't see myself buying a camera right now if you have a phone like this. Other elements I like about it, HDMI port, and of course NFC, which hopefully will take off in Malaysia very soon. In fact, expect to see more of NFC technology throughout the course of the year, from game consoles to mobile phones, etc. Other elements, well, being PlayStation certified certainly helps. I'm a big fan of the concept of putting everything together, similar to what Apple have done with their products, and it could really take off for Sony, especially with possibly the PlayStation 4 just around the corner, although again, that's just speculation. Also, it's not too overbearing. In fact, it doesn't put too much of their own stuff inside this. It sticks to the Android element, doesn't really put in too much in terms of Sony, and I don't like it when suddenly you've got this and this and this and this and it's all different and it gets a bit complicated. This is simple, easy to use, and I'm quite a fan of it, I have to say. You know, when it comes to technology, we tend to take some things for granted. Maybe the mouse or the keyboard, for example, because it's so cheap and it's everywhere nowadays. Now, I went overseas recently, and one thing which I was relying a lot for was Wi-Fi networks. So it got me thinking, what about my wireless network at home? It just kind of runs in the background. I kind of forgot about it. I realized how important it truly is. In conjunction with that, we've actually had a chance to sit down with the International Vice President of Cisco Consumer to talk about their wireless home routers and how it delivers the best experience possible. Okay, so like I mentioned, we're here with someone very high up over at Cisco. I talked about it earlier. Ulrich, pleasure to meet you. I'm
very
Adam.
Nice.
Okay, so I have to get straight into it. Talk us through about the company, first of all.
Well, with pleasure. Cisco is actually the worldwide leading company in networking. And we have set ourselves a target to be slightly different. We would like to change a bit the way that people think about networking.
Okay.
You know, I think networking is very complicated for a lot of people, and we would like to change that. With that, changing the way that people communicate. Now, Cisco is a pretty worldwide known name, but not a lot of people connected to consumer. Maybe Linksys is more known to some of our viewers out there.
Yes.
And actually, we are the former Linksys group. We are now called Cisco Home Networking.
Okay.
And the Home Networking business unit is part of one of the 5 pillars of Cisco now. So whenever you see Cisco, you will probably see a little Linksys on the product name. That is our part for the consumer.
I see, interesting. Well, what we have on the table, a couple of them are props, obviously, salt and pepper, but these 2 items here are not props. Why don't you talk us through?
So what I said is we want to change things slightly, and we have set ourselves 3 points that are important for us. Absolute fantastic performance.
Yes.
The second part is the style and design of the product.
Yep.
And the third one is the ease of use. The other part that has become more and more important is the design. Yeah. And one of the reasons is there's this change going on where people take the router that has been sitting in a closet. I mean, yours probably like mine, has been sitting somewhere hidden, you know?
Yes, it is.
And it's moving to the living room. That's why our design, I think, fits very seamlessly in every living room that you have.
Okay.
And the last part is that I'm not sure how you see it, but I personally am not the most technical person, and networking is still something that people go like, ooh, you know, oh, difficult. And we want to change that as well. And with our new software, which is called Cisco Connect, you can actually connect the product in 3 steps.
3 easy steps.
3 steps. You insert the CD.
Yeah.
The product actually finds all the different parameters itself.
Okay.
You should change your name and your password for security, and you're basically done.
That's it. Simple as that. Okay.
Simple as that.
But what are the differences between the two we have on the table right now?
Okay, this actually is our latest product, which is the 4200, Linksys Router 4200. It's the top of the range at the moment. And
that's
talking
the
E4200,
Yes.
talking a bit about the performance, although I don't like to do that usually, it is really with 450 megabits, the product that gives you the best performance throughout the whole house.
Okay.
You know, not only does it have a wide reach, but also does it seamlessly stream, whether it's film or music, and it actually allows for more than one person to stream at the same time. You know, so that is what you get as a top performance router.
Yes.
You look at this product here, well, that actually serves a totally different purpose. That is what we call the X3000.
Okay, so that's under the X series, yeah.
And the X series, actually, the idea came up when we found out there's people who need a router because they already have a modem at home, and there's people who need a modem router, or a gateway, as they call it. And you know what? The first problem that people have when they stand in the store is, what do I really need? Do I need a modem router or a router? So we thought, let's take that problem away. So the X3000 is actually a hybrid or a combination of both of them. So whether you need a router or a modem router, you are always safe with this product, because next to high performance and I think an equally cool design, this product will serve the purpose that you have at home. It will figure out, am I to be a router? Am I to be a modem router? And actually the nice part is, should you ever change, should you go to a different house, well, your product moves with you, and the X3000 is basically a safe choice.
Yes, it is, and it looks very sleek at the same time, but I'm going to throw something else at you.
Yeah.
Define ultimate wireless living.
If you look at what is happening today, you see that smartphones, tablets, smart TVs are coming up. And actually, I think what is unknown to a lot of people, what you also see coming up, is actually devices that nobody thinks about in terms of networking connection. Think about appliances like a washing machine, a fridge, a cooling system, you know. All of these devices will come up as well. So we are at a really cool changing point at the moment where, a bit similar to the time when the internet started, you needed a router to do something. You will need a far more advanced router now to enjoy all these. And if I talk about seamless connectivity or seamless living, for me, it's the experience you can have with it. And you will see that there is far more power that we will put into some of the software to make sure that you can enjoy your product.
It's very, very personal.
You have to enjoy it, and you have to really sort of know that, what can I do with it? It's not so much what actually does a router do in terms of performance, what can it do for me? You know, what can it do to my experience in the home? And I think that is the ultimate goal we are setting ourselves, to give you an experience that you are like, I want to get more. You know, I want to connect more.
Okay, this all sounds like a Bob Dylan song. The times, they are changing. Anyhow, thank you so much for everything. Very invigorating. It's good to see how things operate without you really realizing it, and how they can play a really crucial part in our lives at home. I don't know what I'll have to do without you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure.
becoming too technical. I think that in areas where there are recent rapid rise in adoption rates, so people getting onto the internet for the first time, we're learning a lot about how to communicate with those citizens through their handheld devices. And it's a question of economics. If you can afford a tablet or a laptop or a set-top box, then that's a fantastic opportunity for your family. But mobile devices are much cheaper. So adoption rates for iPhones are vastly higher in Singapore than they are here in Malaysia. And I think that comes down to economics. And that situation is dynamic and changing all the time. So I think what the rest of the world can learn about Asia in general and also developing markets in general is how to communicate with a fantastic consumer market through handheld devices. So mobility becomes very important, page navigation with mobile devices, making information easy to find for the consumer via mobile devices. Good question, because universities are in a perfect position to take advantage of social media, because where are young people spending their time? Okay, it's online. On the flip side, universities, for the most part, can be quite archaic in the way that they approach marketing of their education, their services, their enrollments, their curriculum. So you've got a bit of a conundrum there. Now, there are some very robust marketing teams within universities abroad and also in Asia who are taking advantage of social media. And I think they're looking at it very much from a contextual basis. If an advert for a esteemed university appears on Facebook, it can appear beside pictures of parties. So the brand that you spent hundreds of years building can be thrown right beside content that is completely out of kilter with the message that you're trying to send. What we're doing at Hybrid is we're creating content campaigns for universities. So we're allowing them to blog in a sponsored fashion, clearly labeled to our audience on our websites. And we're training and instructing them on how to blog and how to engage. And not just that, we're getting our social media team involved so that their message is delivered out to an audience in social media circles, not just Facebook and Twitter, but there's a whole ecosystem of social media in China that has nothing to do with Facebook or Twitter. And so they need to engage there because, of course, China is the biggest international student market in the world right now. So it's a huge marketing challenge, but simple steps, defining the right content, working with the right team, and it can be the most cost-effective way to increase enrollments at a university.
You know, something that's been growing at a really fast rate. In fact, I went to a bookstore. I go to bookstores a lot. And there are now books being published left, right, and center about this certain topic, casual gaming. So our man Avery decided to speak to some of our local boys about it, Kurechi, about some of their games they've developed and have gained some real recognition here in Malaysia to really expand on this concept.
Avery Score here with the Gamer Station. We've got a very special interview today. I'm here with Ping Yi Wei of Kurechi Studio, who's going to tell me about two fantastic titles, The King's League and Reachin' Pitchin'. So take it away. How long have you guys been doing this video games development?
We have been doing this for 3 years.
3 years?
Yeah, 3 years.
And this is a Malaysia story, made in Malaysia, purely?
Yes.
All right. And so you are the creative director, so describe to me a little bit about your role in the company.
Okay, so basically, because our company is very small, so basically what I do everything, including the programming. I do a bit of the art itself, and also the designs, the gameplay itself. Because since we have graduated, so we are all from the multimedia students. So what we have learned is not meant for making games, but we took all the skills that we actually learned from making websites, videos and all that to make games. So
that's sweet. So did that influence the choice of Flash as a platform? Are you an Action 3 maven? And
yep, yes.
Exactly. So, you know, what do you think the future for Flash is? I'm kind of curious to get your opinion on that.
Future for Flash is hard to say. So some people say HTML5 is going to kill Flash.
Like Adobe Edge or something.
Yeah. Okay, but right now I see actually I have a future where Adobe itself, they take a step where actually they'll bring their application to 3.2 and they're actually supporting the GPU accelerating and all that. It's actually doing a good way. So I can say actually we can continue develop our games using Flash.
Push the performance. So tell me a little bit about this game we've got up on the screen, Reachin' Pitchin'.
Reachin' Pitchin' is our first game where basically we three of us, me and Lydia and Zoyan, three of us actually start up, not really a company yet, we start this team and then we actually took this idea to actually pitch for a grant from the government. So it's an IPCC grant. So we actually won the grant and then we used the grant to actually develop this game. But while we are developing this game, we actually have a full-time job. So basically what we do is actually after the daytime job, so we spend like every day, we spend about 3 hours, nighttime to midnight and all that, we make this game. So it took us about 8 months to complete this game.
Well, that's hardcore. That's a passion project right there. I understand you won an award for this game as well. Yeah. You can plug it right now. Which one?
The Creative 2010, the Best Casual Games.
That is sweet. So tell me a little bit about the Kings League as well, because you showed me that and it was pretty cool.
Kings League is the second game that it's the second major game that we developed after Reachin' Pitchin'. So the idea of this game basically, when we developed this game is, how we say that, it's meant for exploration purposes because by that time there's a lot of games actually moving into mobile. So you can see this game, the scale itself and also the interface also, it's actually meant for mobile as well. So it's kind of like exploration for our studios to try to go for like, if we can make a game that we can actually show it, play it on the website at the same time playable on the mobile platform as well. So we started and then we kind of took the ideas of make it simple since it's going to take place in the mobile as well. So we take the ideas of simple, so we try to mix up everything and then this game took about 6 months and it turned out to be very good, but at the time when we actually developed it, we don't think it's that good, but it turned out to be very good.
It looks good to me.
Yeah, it's the idea because we make a lot of twists and all that, so and also we face it for a long time. We think of kind of boring, but never mind, we just keep it to the end. We try to publish it and then we got Armor's Game to publish our games. So yeah, from there it's become a hit when we actually launch it, so a lot of people like it. So what we actually do now is actually we make a sequel, then with a lot of, we collect a lot of feedbacks from the players and we try to improve the game itself from there.
Well, rightfully so, it looks pretty slick to me. Nice presentation, everything like that, good gameplay design. Yeah, sometimes the rule of the game is publish, publish, publish. You know, just push the build out there. You get myopic when you're in the development trenches. So how has the transition to mobile been, you know, when you're developing on Adobe? Via Adobe Air, you go on the Android devices except for the Flyer, you were saying. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there are some unique kind of UX challenges and UX metaphors you have to employ.
Of course, the major challenge for us when moving to mobile platform will be the performance. The Flash doesn't go as well when they go to all these mobile platforms.
Yeah.
So, but by optimizing all these graphics, for instance, the Kings League, actually we managed to put it on the Amazon App Store for Android and also the devices they have in North America. So they're actually doing nicely by the frameworks they're providing by the publisher itself. They have the frameworks that can package our files and then actually put it into the device itself. So what we need to do is actually making tweaks and all that UI, make it bigger, make it user-friendly with the touch input and all that, and then also taking care of things like what if players quit the game or have the phone during the battle and all that, we will actually silence the games itself, we actually pause the game,
right.
Have them save the game and all that.
That's good stuff, and a lot of the developers today understand that pretty well. I remember back in the halcyon days of mobile gaming, no, not at all.
Not at all.
So yeah, do you think that, finally, are there any sort of unique challenges to developing games and just being a developer in Malaysia?
In Malaysia, we don't have abundance of resources. We don't have things like, we have very less funding, facilities or things like trainings and all that. But good thing is we still have internet. So what we need to do is basically take the initiative, look up from the internet. So there's a lot of chances out there. At the same time, it could be none. So it's just how you look at it. So for Creative, we see it as a full glass because it's totally nothing. So it's up to us to create anything. Also, at the same time, I think in Malaysia, we are still quite fortunate as in we have companies like MDAC, Mac3 and all that. They're providing fundings and support to all these local game developers. So wow, we Creative benefit a lot from that as well.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear it. You're making great games, so keep it up. And for all you wannabe developers out there, you can take the example of Karachi Studios' Made in Malaysia story. Happy to talk with you. Thanks, Ping.
I'll be honest, I'm still more of a console kind of guy, but what about you? For casual stuff, console, combination of both perhaps? Let us know. Facebook and Twitter, look up GN Gadget. You can also find me. I'm online all the time. Till next week with more gadgets. My name's Alan Carruthers. See ya.